What's up, guys? It's the Beat Street Bully Billionaire, baby. And I'm back and I'm ready to go. I'm going to pick every single game from the 1 o'clock slate for week 3 NFL Sunday, baby. Let's get it without further ado. Alright, we're going to go into the DraftKings Sportsbook app and take a look. Here's some of my picks here. We're going to get to them in a second. But for now, I'm going to remove all the picks from the slip. We're going to start off with the first game that they put on the slate for us, which is not going to be that game. It's going to be the Miami Dolphins versus the Denver Broncos. The Miami Dolphins are going to be minus 245, over under 47, and the 6-point favorites over the Broncos at home. Miami Dolphins. All right. This is an interesting game here. Broncos coming off a very big loss where they put up a massive Hail Mary touchdown to almost win the game. Couldn't get it done, but it was close. Sean Payton looked pissed on the sideline. Russell Wilson, once again, just can't do anything right. And they lose to the Washington Commanders 35-33. Now they get the Dolphins with Tyreek Hill. Jalen Waddle, I believe, has a concussion, though, and probably is not going to play. So that should affect it, but they should be able to cover or put more coverage on or focus around more on Tyreek Hill. That's kind of their main offensive weapon at that point, and I think they could put some pressure on. So I'm going to go with the Broncos +6 here. I think it's a lot of points. I think that the Dolphins are still going to win the game, but I like the plus points for the Broncos. I think that is a sneaky value on the board. Everyone's probably going to go against it because they all like the Dolphins. I like them too, but I think that there's a lot of points to be given there, so we're going to take it. Next up, Buffalo Bills versus the Washington Commanders. Washington Commanders are at home. Over under 42.5 points. They're +5.5 underdogs at home versus the Buffalo Bills. And Josh Allen, last week they just won, put up 35 points, and the Bills put up 38. So, sneaky game, could be back and forth, could be really close, could be a burial Bills. They're given 5.5, so they must think it's going to be close, lower scoring game. Last time they matched up, Josh Allen carved up for 5 touchdowns. So we'll see what he does here. I think he could bury him. I think it could be close. There's a lot of ways this one could go. Either way, I think the Bills are going to need to get it done. I think the Commanders are a little bit too worn out and also playing in their shit stadium, and also, well, they do have the advantage, though, of Eric Bieniemy as the coordinator, and so that's difficult. He was on the Chiefs. He knows. He might know that Bill scheme. It's gonna be I think it'd be a closer game, but you think you could take the +5.5 if you wanted, if you were real sneaky. But I feel like the Bills probably would overpower them at the end, so I'm gonna take them to win the game at -245. All right, next up is probably, I think, the best game on the slate today. You got the Detroit Lions over the Atlanta Falcons. -166 favorites, 3.5-point favorites at home. Over-under is 47. Falcons look good to me, man. They got Kyle Pitts. They got Desmond Ridder. Looks pretty serviceable. Drake London. They haven't really shown out yet. I think they could. Obviously, this Bijan Robinson is a complete freak. So I would say you might want to watch out for his impact on this Lions defense here, because he could be utilized in a lot of different ways. Then you have Jahmyr Gibbs on the other. So you have 2 rookie running backs in this game who are both the best in the game right now when it comes to fantasy. It seems like everybody's into them. And they're probably going to both show out. I think that's going to be the battle here. Bijan versus Jahmyr Gibbs. Get utilized a lot on the ground. Today is just one of those days where I'm not seeing a lot of slinging it, a lot of big points. You had that last week, big overtime game, shootouts, 35-33, blah, 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 all this stuff. I think it takes us dial back here this week. Some of the weather situations, some of the cold, some of the wind, uh, some of the teams, some of the matchups. It seems like some burials could be in effect where teams are just up so much and so not much is going on. Kind of some weak games today. So I think that in this situation, it's tough for me. I think that Atlanta could pull off a win here, maybe. But 3 points to cover is tough. I think I'm going to have to probably go with the Lions here. Jared, they just came off a big overtime loss, and I thought they looked really good to me still, and I really thought their schedule's pretty easy peasy here. They look like they should be winning a lot of games. They should have a pretty good record. This team, I think they should be able to handle, and I think they get the win. I don't know. It's tough for me. It's a very tough one. I would like to see the Falcons win, but that's going to be tough. Next up on the slate, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Houston Texans. Jacksonville is a 7-point favorite at home, minus 340 for the money line, over under 43.5. Another interesting game. Trevor Lawrence coming off a loss to Kansas City. They looked like they could have won the game multiple times from the goal line, so I won't discredit that. I think that looked pretty good to me. If it was different situations would have panned out and they were playing a different defense, they probably would have scored. But the Chiefs' defense played pretty good. Steve Spagnuolo, really good defensive coordinator. And so they held them at the goal line 3 separate occasions. So I don't see the Texans being able to do that. So I really like the Jags here. 7 points. I think the Texans could cover that. But I feel like that it's just safer to just go Jags money line here because, trust me, it'll juice up. We don't need to worry about any kind of bullshit. It'll juice up here, okay? So, next game we got the Baltimore Ravens versus the Indianapolis Colts. They are 7.5-point favorites at home, over under 43.5, minus 340 for the money line. Baltimore Ravens coming off some injuries. Colts, though, with no Anthony Richardson, and that's going to be very, very difficult. No Anthony Richardson and no Jonathan Taylor. How are you going to handle anything this team does? Now, obviously, they're not going to have Marlon Humphreys, and they're not going to have a couple key pieces. So it's going to the Ravens usually get injured a lot. This could be closer than normal. I just think a lot of these games are going to be lower scoring. You got 7.5 points. They could run away with it at the end, though. I just think the safer play here is definitely the Baltimore Ravens because there's no Anthony. If Anthony Richardson's the game, I might say take the Colts plus 7.5 if that was the line, but without him, I think it's just you got to go with the money line. They're probably going to find a way. Next game, Chargers versus the Vikings. Everybody thinks probably going to be the biggest game on the slate. Probably will be the slate breaker. We don't know yet, though. 54.5 total. You got a +1 and a -1. I mean, I hate these type of totals like this. Pretty much a pick 'em, pretty much a coin flip. They're saying. I think the Chargers got to get the win. Justin Herbert 0-2. They got to get it done. Vikings, I think Kirk Cousins maybe just comes up a little bit short somewhere in the game, in the shootout, and can't deliver. And then Herbert finally shows his clutch mode and gets it done here. And maybe gets a win for the Chargers on the road here versus the Vikings. So I'm going to take them +1. Even though I hate the +1, I'd probably want to juice it up alternates like +3 or something at least. But I think they're going to get the win. I think they could even win handily, maybe depending on the game script. All right, next game. You got the Cleveland Browns versus the Tennessee Titans. -170 favorites at home. Over-under 37.5, 3.5-point spread. Another interesting game. Cleveland, they've just been really defensively good. They have really good offensive line, really good defensive line, probably one of the top in the league, but they just lost Nick Chubb, their top running back. Deshaun Watson didn't really look very good at home. But it's just like my problem is like the Titans is a team that I think I really do like. They got DeAndre Hopkins, they got Derrick Henry, but who's the quarterback? They got Ryan Tannehill, okay? And as I went in my rant last week, I can't stand Tannehill, and I can't stand Vrabel. I can't understand why they're still together. I think they're buddy-buddy. I think they're ruining the system, and I think they need to move on from Tannehill. So until that's said and done, I'm probably going to have to go against them. Somehow they're going to just shoot themselves in the foot at the end of this one. They just won a big epic game in overtime versus the Chargers. I think they're not going to be able to do that this time. So give me the Cleveland Browns. Money line. At home, they just came off a big loss to my Steelers, crushed them, just lost their boy Chubb. I think they rally and say, you know what, we're going to beat this team at home. Yeah, I like that. All right, next game. Patriots versus Jets. Jets are plus 120. Patriots are minus 142. Road favorites. 2.5 point spread. 35.5 over under. This one is a tricky one. Very tricky, very coin flippy, down to the wire. You got Zach Wilson, Mac Jones. I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of people could just be sneakily thinking Patriots, and it could easily go Jets because the defenses just both play good. But Patriots, man, they just got a tough loss to the Dolphins last week. I thought they could easily beat them off a call that goes another way. I think they kind of own the Jets. I think they get the Jets. It's tough for me. This is a coin flip situation for me, but I think they do it. 2.5 points, not good enough. I would want 3 or more. If it was 3.5, I would take it. So I'm going to go with the Patriots to win the game at minus 142. And finally, we have the Green Bay Packers and the New Orleans Saints. Another tricky coin flip game here. Defensive battle, tough. Bakhtiari, I believe, is out, but A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones are going to be back in tandem, and Christian Watson should be back. And so in that scenario, I would say I do like the Green Bay Packers to be able to move the ball a little bit more. With Jordan Love, he's been looking really dialed in. I don't really know if I feel the same way about Derek Carr. I feel like people are giving him a little bit too much credit here, and I feel like the Saints' defense is pretty good, but also a little bit aging, I feel like, in certain aspects. Maybe I'm wrong about that, I don't know, but I'm not really as sold on them yet. They still haven't proven it to me yet, I guess we can say. So until they prove it to me, I'm gonna sit here, and I think the Packers, I don't like the plus 1.5. I don't think they're gonna cover a plus 1.5 point spread. So I like the Packers money line to finish off this parlay. 9 picks. All right, let's get into it. 9 pick parlay. You got the Denver Broncos plus 6. The Buffalo, plus 5.5. Whoa, never mind. A little dip action. You're gonna drop the hook on it. Plus 5.5. Then you got the Buffalo Bills. I don't know if I like the fucking Denver Broncos plus 5.5. Huh. That's tough now. Why they gotta fucking drop the hook on the Broncos, man? Give me a 6. Alright, well, just wait for the hook to come back up and then take the 6. Or just take the alternate spread. But 6.5, 6, 7. I like it. I think they could maybe win the game somehow sneakily because I feel like people don't know anything about football, but I don't know. Let's go to the whatever. Fuck that. Broncos. Then you got Bills. Then you got Lions money line, Jags money line, Ravens money line, Chargers plus 1, Browns money line, Patriots money line, Packers money line. I mean, I know that sounds a little fucking too many money lines here, but I don't know. There's good logic to it. This is a shitty kind of week 3. I feel like a lot of teams just got to get wins under the belt. Obviously, there's going to be some crazy distracting bullshit that happens. Maybe it's just the Broncos beat the Dolphins or something, but I don't know. It just could be that maybe that this shit's just kind of like sketchy early, and then all of a sudden they come back late, and then these teams just charge late. So that's my 9 pick. If I was going to eliminate 3 picks, make it a 6 pick, I would say we'd probably take the Patriots out and the Packers because that's sketch, and then the Lions because I think that's sketch. So that would give me a 6 pick parlay, which is 12-1, which is just equally as valuable. Put enough money on that. I like that, But if we wanted to eliminate it further, can we move it to 3 picks here? Well, then we'd have to say, let's get rid of Cleveland Browns Titans. I think that... I mean, like, I don't want to go too obvious here, so we're going to get rid of the Ravens, and then we're going to get rid of... let's get rid of the Jags. 3-pick parlay plus 429. Denver Broncos plus 5.5. I would take a little bit alternate spread because it's still valuable, and this parlay will still be juiced. Buffalo Bills minus 245. Chargers plus 1. Actually, I feel like you could swap even Broncos in there back for that fucking... Because I really just don't trust Russ, bro. I just don't trust Russell Wilson. I'm going to go with Josh Allen, bro. I trust Joshy. Or, wait, who'd I eliminate? Oh, yeah, Trevor Truth. I trust the truth, okay? We're going to go with this instead, because I can't go with Russell Wilson. I think it's a savvy pick, but I can't make it like a best bet type of pick. So, 3 great quarterbacks playing today. I like it. They both have, or they all 3 of them have good odds to make this parlay a nice little juice. 245. $100 wins you 347. I probably won't do that. I don't know if I'm going to unload that today. But I'm just saying, I think that's a tasty 3-pick. That's a tasty little take back for a Sunday 1 o'clock showdown. So, that concludes my 1 o'clock picks breakdown. Thanks for watching. Yeah, let's go, baby. Beach Street Sports to the moon. I'm the Beach Street bully billionaire